it's like this feeling of like, wanting to belong, like back like into our community. And so the second question is, how do we build community? How do we continue to build community, knowing that some of it has been lost, knowing that there's a lot of things, that are happening? La segunda pregunta es, ¿cómo quieres empezar a construir comunidad mientras reflexionamos sobre los desafíos de la pandemia? Tal vez con la segunda pregunta te puedes pensar como, si piensas en un árbol, ¿verdad? ¿Qué es la tierra? ¿Qué es lo que necesita la tierra, ¿verdad? Para crecer. ¿Cuál es el agua? ¿Cuál es el sol? Sometimes when I think about like the second question, I think about like a young tree sapling. It's like, like what does a young tree sapling need, like to create like a strong foundation, like the base, the soil. So for these next 5 minutes, you're going to take one of the sticky notes. So all of this is an invitation. There's sticky notes as well as pens. Así es que también las personas en casa, si tienen un lugar donde pueden escribir, pueden agarrar una de las sticky notes y responder a una de estas dos preguntas o las dos en los próximos 5 minutos. Sí, eso es lo. Vamos a poner un temporizador. We're going to put a timer as well. Okay. Do you have pens? ¿Tienes el temporizador? Ok, perdón.
Ya lo tengo.
Yo lo voy a poner. It's really cute.
No tenía muchos morados.
No. Me gusta este de lavanda. Entonces, ahora vamos a tomar unos minutos también para... ¿Queda un minuto? Perdón. Ok, un minuto. Sí, pero también sí puede preguntar unas respuestas.
También alguien compartió en el chat, si quieres pedirle a Miriam, ella puede leerlo al voz alta.
Ok, perfecto. Voy a llamar a alguien.
I know.
26 segundos. Sí, yo pienso que ya, miro que las personas ya pararon de escribir. Entonces, vamos a algunos repartos, ¿verdad? Si ustedes están dispuestos. Lo que esperamos es que los pongamos aquí en una de esas paredes para que el personal también los pueda recopilar y tengan la oportunidad de revisarlos. Así es que si ustedes no lo quieren decir a voz alta, también el personal los va a poder leer. And so I know that right now I'm asking for some volunteers to say what you wrote down. And so, and if we can like raise our hands, if you don't get to say what's on your little piece of paper, we're going to put them here on the walls in order for the staff to collect them and also review them. And I also know that there's folks on the chat who have some comments. También sé que en la caja de charla en casa también hay unos comentarios también. Así es que vamos a tener una, Mike, ¿sí podemos tomar como 5 minutos para esta parte? Ok, y va a haber más, obviamente, ¿verdad? Eso no es el cierre de esa conversación. So this is just the beginning opportunity. This isn't the only one. So if we can raise our hands, si podemos levantar la mano, y aquí vamos a empezar con Laura y después Missiga.
Hola, buenos días. Me da gusto verlas a todas, creo que nos conocemos todos, ¿verdad? Yo pienso que una de las cosas que yo, como parte de la comunidad, me gustaría implementar yo misma hacia otras personas es comunicación, respetar y entender las necesidades de las otras personas, tolerancia y prudencia.
¿Lo puedes repetir?
Perdón. A mí me gustaría, como parte de la comunidad, lo digo por mí misma, tratar de tener más comunicación, respetar y entender las necesidades de las otras personas, tolerancia y prudencia.
Gracias.
Me lo presta. Yo lo puedo traducir. Miss Laura would like to share that she personally would like to increase communication, to be respectful and understanding of the needs of other people, and to incorporate tolerance and prudence. Gracias.
Hola, buenos días a todos. Lo voy a decir en inglés y luego en español. So I think one of the first things that we need to acknowledge when we're talking about community, and just acknowledge that this is a moment of great awkwardness, and that's okay. We need to embrace that and step into that. Lo primero lo que hay que averiguar y tener esa honestidad es de que este momento nunca lo hemos vivido. Entonces poder entrar con eso, con esa valentía y saber que estos momentos van a ser un poco difícil y está bien. Entonces, a través de eso, poder crear empatía, poder crear, como dijo la señora Laura, ese respeto, esa voz, unidad. Nosotros sabemos que la palabra integrar viene de una raíz latino, ¿verdad? Y esa palabra tiene raíces que significa de hacer otra vez completo. We know that the word integrate, which is what we're trying to redo, has Latin roots, and that Latin root means to make whole again, and that is what we're trying to do. We do that by creating unity, by showing empathy, by showing up for each other and acknowledging that we each have lived our own perspective, our own stories, and that that we need to embrace, not judge, but to support. Tenemos que también saber que nosotros hemos vivido nuestras propias experiencias y esas son las historias que están grabadas en nuestro ser y lo que es realidad para nosotros. Y no podemos negar que a otra persona ha vivido algo más o algo menos. Hay que poder soportarnos y ayudarnos unos a los otros.
Para demostrar equidad también, hay que ser una persona de la casa, de la caja de charlas.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and share Maria's comment. So by gathering with mutual respect as a community. Oh, I forgot. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to multitask. So I'm gonna share Maria's. She says, by gathering with mutual respect as a community and discuss concerns, learn from each other and work together to build our community stronger. And in Spanish, reuniéndonos como comunidad con respeto mutuo y platicando sobre nuestras preocupaciones y aprendiendo unos de otros y trabajando juntos para hacer nuestra comunidad más fuerte.
Viviana, ¿uno solo? Just
One
one, or you want all of them?
No, just one. I think we have another comment over here, right? Aquí tenemos uno. Vamos. Con la mano levantada.
Yo ya no quiero. Bueno, pues en la pregunta número 1 yo puse creando unidad de entendimiento, creando acuerdos y respeto, raza y género y creencias. Para mí creo que es de suma importancia reconocer este aspecto precisamente porque es lo que crea mayormente el entendimiento en la comunidad, creando una unidad. En la segunda pregunta puse creando un entendimiento y reforzando en casa, compartiendo información en nuestro alrededor, ya sea usando la tecnología y haciendo una comunicación y creando una empatía. Gracias. Now in English. Created unity, understanding, creating acuerdos, agreements, and respect, race, gender, and beliefs. Ahora la segunda pregunta era creando un entendimiento y reforzando en casa. Era creating, understanding, and reinforcing home. Sharing information around of us with technology, social media, and creative communication and empathy. Yep. Thank you.
So we have room, this thing. I think we have room for an additional comment. ¿Alguien más? Anyone else? Déjate doy el micrófono. Ven. ¿Quién lo va a compartir? ¿Usted?
Buenos días, mi nombre es Juana y yo hice algo básico, nomás saludar a la persona porque uno nunca sabe lo que está pasando en su mente. Nomás decir hola, porque a veces estamos tapados y no se mira la sonrisa. Nomás decir hola y cosa básica, decir gracias, te aprecio. Cuando vas a la tienda, no estar impaciente porque alguien te cortó y estar gritándole, oye, se estás metiendo en la línea, o oye, hazte para allá, porque tenemos que estar 6 pies de distancia. Pero tener entendimiento que algunas personas, como las más adultas o seniors, no entienden que quieren platicar contigo, quieren compartir sus historias y nada más tener más paciencia. I think I just shared just saying hello to someone, even if you don't know them. Or when you're driving, be patient if somebody cuts you off. Or when you're at the grocery store, if somebody's too close to you, just be patient. You know, our kids see that all the time. If you're mad the whole time, the energy goes to someone else too. So just basic etiquette of thank you, you're welcome, have a great day. I hope you're having a wonderful day or things like that. So that was my thing, just basic etiquette. I think you know, the pandemic kind of scares us all, but we're living it. So we're gonna have to do that.
Vamos a pasar a la profesora Banerjee ahora.
Antes de terminar, the coffee chat, si pueden poner sus papelitos aquí en la pared. So after the coffee chat, you can place your post-it notes if you're so willing. Here, like on the wall, so that the staff can also collect them. Gracias.
Gracias. Buenos días a todos. Yo soy maestra Banerjee, soy la coordinadora de tecnología educativa y de aprendices multilingües. Estoy repartiendo papelitos de otro color. Vamos a utilizar para una actividad 2 colores. Gracias, ya están. Sí, los pueden repartir por la mesa. Voy a hablar primero en español y luego en inglés. Nos estamos reenfocando en las prácticas fundamentales, que son los principios de EL Education. Hay un libro entero, todas las prácticas que nos ayudan a enfocarnos en todos los principios educativos de carácter, de trabajos de alta calidad, de EL Education. Hoy vamos a hablar de una específica, es la práctica fundamental de fomentando los hábitos de carácter, que en OCEAA les decimos rasgos de personalidad. So we are continuing today's conversation of refocusing on EL Education and on their principles by talking about one of their core practices. So the core practices of EL Education are an entire book with all of the descriptions of how we can align our work to mastery of knowledge and skills, high quality work, and character, the 3 dimensions of student achievement within EL Education. Today, we're talking about just one of them, core practice number 22, which is fostering habits of character. In Spanish, those are the rasgos de personalidad. Next month, we will be lucky to have our school designer, Sarah Purdy, here to speak to us about 2 core practices. She will reiterate core practice 22, and she'll also bring in core practice 21 about creating a learning community. For those of you at home, if you click the link that Kathy has put in the chat, you can read those handouts that I've provided here. Everyone who's here, there are copies in English and Spanish of those 2 core practices. Entonces, los amigos que se han unido a nosotros en casa a través de Zoom, si hacen clic en el enlace que acaba de compartir Kathy en la ventanilla de chat, de charla, pueden abrir los documentos que he compartido aquí impresos, que son copias de 2 prácticas fundamentales, 21 y 22, la 22 que vamos a hablar hoy y la 21 que se va a incluir en la próxima charla con café con nuestra diseñadora escolar, Sarah Purdy. Por hoy nos enfocamos en las 5 prácticas o rasgos que hemos seleccionado en OCEAA. Hace un par de años, creo que fue hace 3 años, nosotros como equipo de maestros nos sentamos a decidir qué era lo más importante, la ética de nuestros chicos que queríamos que se llevaran al mundo cuando se graduaban de OCEAA. ¿Cuáles eran los rasgos de personalidad que nosotros veíamos íntegros a la educación en OCEAA? So about 3 years ago, we as a teaching staff sat down with our school designer and talked about which were the habits of character that were integral to an OCEAA education. Those that we wanted to make sure that every student at OCEAA graduated taking with them into the world. These were the 5 that we selected. Estas fueron las 5 que nosotros escogimos en ese instante. Como pueden ver aquí, esta es una descripción mínima de la práctica fundamental es la parte que tiene hasta arriba el documento y explica que EL Education ve carácter como igual de importante, integral a la educación, que lo académico no puede aumentar si el carácter no está allí para fomentarlo. So as you can see here, this is a teeny tiny description at the very top of the core practice that describes that in EL Education's model, the student's character development is equally as important as the academic development. And we believe that academics cannot move forward without that foundation of character to support it. So our activity today is to reflect on our OCEAA promise. What did we decide before the pandemic was vital to us and the OCEAA graduate, and refocus on that so we can come back to our roots. Entonces, nuestra actividad hoy es reenfocándonos en la promesa de OCEAA, en esos 5 hábitos o 5 rasgos de personalidad, porque sí nos hemos desviado y necesitamos regresar a nuestras raíces en esta promesa. ¿Puedo pedir que alguien nos lea, por favor, la promesa de OCEAA? Gracias.
Ok. Promesa de OCEAA. El día de hoy se me ha dado fresco y nuevo. Con valentía abogaré por hacer lo correcto en todas las áreas de mi vida. Con integridad daré lo mejor de mí mismo. Con colaboración trabajaré en equipo. Con compasión ayudaré a los demás. Con perseverancia iré más allá de lo que creo que puedo hacer. Aprenderé de este día, no lo desperdiciaré.
Would someone like to read us the OCEAA promise in English? Thank you. Oh yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Today has been given to me fresh and new. With courage, I will advocate for doing what's right in all areas of my life. With integrity, I will give the best of me. With collaboration, I will work in a team. With compassion, I will help others. With perseverance, I will go beyond what I think I can do. I will learn from this day, not throw it away.
Gracias. Todavía leemos esta promesa o recitamos esta promesa al comienzo de cada asamblea. Mañana tenemos asamblea y al servicio de integridad, los estudiantes de 6º, 7º y 8º van a manejar toda la asamblea. Entonces, si no pueden estar ahí con nosotros, por favor, entren en Zoom y feliciten a nuestros chicos que están tomando ese liderazgo para guiar nuestra asamblea. So we do still read the OCEAA promise or recite the OCEAA promise at the beginning of every assembly. We do have an assembly tomorrow, 1st through 8th grade, and it will be completely led by students in service of integrity and leadership. So if you're not able to join us in person, please do join over Zoom so that you can celebrate our students stepping up. So we're going to reflect a couple of questions. In which habit of character are you proud to have progressed recently? This is constantly changing, right? This is a roller coaster. Some days I'm a little bit better at compassion. Some days I'm a little bit better at perseverance. Some days I really need to work on my courage. How have you achieved that progress? Is it through just, white knuckle buckling down and doing it? Is it support from your community? Is it words of encouragement from somebody else? Is it asking for help? How did you get there? And which habit of character have you struggled with recently? Again, this is always changing, so it might be different today than it was yesterday. It might be different than it is tomorrow. But which one for you is a little bit easier right now? And which one is a little bit harder right now? And so I'm going to ask that on the yellow pieces of paper, the yellow Post-its, you reflect on yourself. And on the purple, you reflect about OCEAA. On the purple papers, please share with us, which habit of character do you feel that we are living up to right now? And in which one do you see that we are struggling? And if you have any suggestions of how we can improve that, please do include that on your paper. Okay. So we're going to take a few minutes to write. And then if you are willing to share your papers, you can come stick them on the corresponding habit of character. You can share the yellow ones on your own reflections if you like, but especially the purple ones, please make sure to share your thoughts with us. Okay. Entonces vamos a tomar un momento, una actividad para reflexionar acerca de dos preguntas acerca de los rasgos de personalidad. ¿En cuál rasgo de personalidad está usted orgulloso o orgullosa de haber progresado recientemente? ¿Cómo lo ha logrado? ¿Ha sido simplemente decidir hacerlo o tener motivación, tener apoyo de su comunidad? ¿Cómo ha llegado a tener éxito ahí? Y la segunda pregunta, ¿con qué rasgo de personalidad usted ha luchado recientemente? ¿Por qué? Esto siempre va cambiando de un día a otro. Un rasgo es más fácil que otro. Tal vez dos sean fáciles y uno sea imposible y el próximo día cambie. Entonces, lo que estamos reflexionando es solamente hoy, en este momento, entendiendo que eso puede cambiar. Pedimos que en los papelitos amarillos reflexionen acerca de sí mismos. ¿De cuál rasgo de personalidad se le está haciendo fácil de seguir, de realizar ahora? ¿Y cuál es difícil de realizar ahora? Y los morados, esperamos que nos compartan sus pensamientos acerca de los rasgos de personalidad que ustedes piensan que estamos logrando y los que está claro que necesitamos apoyo. Y si tienen ideas de cómo podemos mejorar en realizar ese rasgo de personalidad, por favor compartan sus ideas. Les voy a dar un par de minutos en silencio si quieren platicar, adelante a platicar y luego tomaremos algunas ideas. Sí, por favor, los de Zoom, por favor que pongan sus comentarios en el chat. Claro que no van a salir amarillo ni morado, pero que pongan si es acerca de OCEAA o acerca de sí mismo. So of course, those of you on Zoom, your comment won't show up on yellow or purple, but if you would just let us know if your reflections are about yourself or about OCEAA. Sí, perdón. They're integrity, collaboration, courage, perseverance, and compassion. And they're listed here just in case. If you'd like to come read what these habits of character mean to us, how we have defined them at OCEAA, please come up and read them. Si ustedes quieren ver cómo hemos definido estos rasgos de personalidad, por favor vengan a leer cómo los hemos definido en OCEAA. I'm hearing some conversation. I know these are not easy questions. We don't expect to, build Rome in a day, but if we are opening this conversation, so if you have any reflections on these questions in the coming weeks, please let us know. Please let us know which ones you see us improving in, which ones you see that are stagnating, and if you have any ideas for how we can improve. Entonces, estoy escuchando algunas conversaciones acerca de que estas preguntas son difíciles. No esperamos que tengan todas las respuestas, que nos digan cómo podemos mejorar todo en este momento. Pero si se les ocurren ideas a través de las próximas semanas, siempre en OCEA, si tienen ideas o si quieren avisarnos, oye, necesitan aumentar este rasgo de personalidad, se les está quedando atrás. Avísenos, por favor. Yeah. I would say email. Yeah. Yes. Yes. We can make a Google form. I feel like an email allows for more discussion. Yeah. A ver. If you would like to bring up your Post-its, please bring them up at any point from here to the end of the presentation or until you need to leave. And again, if you have ideas later on, please email us. Please email Mike, please email myself. Si quieren traer sus papelitos adhesivos a los carteles y pegarlos, por favor, en cualquier momento de aquí hasta que se tengan que ir a casa, por favor, siéntanse cómodos de hacerlo. Y también si tienen ideas en otro momento, por favor, escríbanle un correo al señor Limón o a mí con sus ideas. ¿Listo para la próxima? Muchísimas gracias por trabajar con nosotros en esto. Thank you so much for working with us on this. I really appreciate your participation and your critical thought, your the heart you put into this. Thank you.
Y le damos otra vez gracias a la profesora Benegí para este ejercicio. La flor, por favor, gracias. Thank you, ladies. Okay, we're missing one of our colleagues running around the school, but the next topic is the change that you or the update or communication around the change that you received on Saturday with our school director no longer being with OCEAA. Just know that these situations and outcomes are not taken lightly, and that our focus is to do the best we can for the school to keep us moving forward as a school. Obviously, just change in general, regardless of the topic, is a scary thing that we face in our lives every single day. And so one of the things that the academic team did over the weekend in preparation for Monday is that they created a crew lesson specifically around change. So I hope that as you had conversations with your children that they shared with you how powerful those crews were. I went to a crew every morning and I was enlightened, and I learned a lot about why we're here with this change, and just know that we are united to move forward as a community. Okay. More technology.
Ok, so, primero que nada queremos hablarles un poquito del cambio que recientemente se les notificó a ustedes durante la semana o el fin de semana pasado. Y obviamente todos sabemos que los cambios son muy dificultosos y con esto también trae muchos retos, ¿verdad? Entonces, lo reconocemos. Queremos darle gracias a la señora Kelty, que colaboró y trabajó con nosotros durante el tiempo que trabajó, porque ayudó, ¿verdad? Y luego también, después de que comunicamos a las tres coordinadoras, a Mónica, Nicole y Marlene, se reunieron y trabajaron en colaboración para planear planeaciones que fueran significativas para los estudiantes y estuvieran ellos preparados para el cambio, ¿verdad? O sea, para ayudarles cómo manejar el cambio. El señor Limón estuvo presente en algunas clases y presenciando esas planeaciones referente al cambio que los niños y el personal y todos nos estamos sobrellevando. Siempre lo hacemos de corazón para seguir adelante, ¿verdad? Porque esa es la meta, de seguir sirviendo a nuestra comunidad. Para Mike fue muy ilumbrador, o sea, fue algo que en realidad lo motivó a que se tuvo que hacer y vamos a seguir progresando.
Deja checar la pila. Test, ¿sí se escucha? Nada, sí, maybe so. Más. It should work. I don't know what's going on. 1, 2, 3. Thanks for your patience, everybody out there. Maestra Carrera, si nos unes acá arriba, por favor. Muchachos atrás, ¿cómo estamos allá? Más o menos, ok. So, también sobre el fin de semana tomamos el tiempo de mirar las responsabilidades que la directora escolar estaba haciendo en su puesto y los quebramos en pedazos para el equipo que está acá arriba para que complete las responsabilidades para el resto de este año. So over the weekend, the team got together and basically took some of the high-level core responsibilities of the school director position and broke them up into chunks so that way we can continue to add more work to our plates, right? So we can finish the year off strong. And so we're gonna basically go around and just share from each of the leaders here who's gonna be taking on the additional responsibilities. Obviously, there's a bunch of nitty-gritty details that we've already been supporting with because Karina was a new colleague to the school, so we were already supporting with some of the things. So I think we're going to be okay. And so the other thing, as you can see on the chart here, for those that don't know, Senora Collins, she was our previous school director for about 7 years, and then prior a teacher and prior a board member. So she was with the school for like 15 years, and she still has been as an ELAC tester, etc. So she's going to be joining us next week to continue the journey with us. So she'll be on site 2 days a week, really to support behavior. I see some clapping. So con eso, we're going to, and this is just for the rest of this school year. Obviously, we have a lot of work to do in partnership with you, our staff, to figure out what comes next with respect to what we need to do to continue to stay strong as a team. Whether it's the same structure with the school director and our coordinators, etc., or do we need to blow up the system in an effort to be more protective of our team so that way we can keep running this marathon, because this last 2 years felt like we've been running a sprint. And so we really need to take care of our people so that way we can keep fighting for your children. So con eso, we're just going to go through each person, por favor. Y pienso que ya lo hice, ¿verdad? Okay. Y vamos a platicar un poquito sobre de las responsabilidades. We'll talk a little bit about the responsibilities and then open up to questions. We do have a coffee chat April 14th at the school designer Sarah Purdy is coming too, that we can add more time for questions around this topic, and also possibly a sneak peek as to what this structure could look like going forward in partnership with you and your feedback.
Buenos días otra vez, maestra Banerjee. Yo voy a tomar cargo del grupo de liderazgo estudiantil y voy a ser la administradora en algunos IEPs los martes y los jueves. So I will be taking on the student leadership team, nurturing our students' leadership, and attending some IEPs on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I forgot to mention earlier that I wanted to reiterate Rosalinda's comment about we are crew, not passengers. Thank you for being here and being crew with us. So, otra vez quiero reiterar lo que había dicho Rosalinda al principio, que EL Education nos enseña que todos somos tripulación, no pasajeros, ¿sí? Que no pasamos como turistas por nuestra vida, pero tenemos que involucrarnos y ser tripulación y ser parte de eso, y ustedes estando aquí están siendo tripulación con nosotros. Gracias.
Good morning. Okay. Can you hear me? I'm really not used to this part because I have a really loud teaching voice. I'm like, I never use it. I'm Maestra Kovacic. Maestra Carrera is going to help me with translation. I am a Spanish learner. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I have been with OCEAA. This is my 15th year. I was a 5th and 6th grade teacher, and I'm your math coordinator. I am stepping into behavior for 4th through 8th grade. The teacher is the primary person for behavior first, but as it goes up, I am going to be involved in it. I am managing part of the SSTs, which is the student study team. So if there is a behavioral or academic concern, you may see me as part of the meeting. And then I am going to be working very closely with our 8th graders to make sure that they reach the goal of promotion. So anyone who is in danger of falling behind or not meeting any of their requirements, they are going to get to know me very personally.
No. Hola, buenos días. Yo soy la maestra Carrera, soy la coordinadora de alfabetismo. Voy a primero traducir y luego voy a decirles mi parte. La maestra Kubasek va a estar a cargo de apoyar a las maestras con comportamientos para los grados 4º a 8º. La primera persona que está a cargo de eso, claro, es la maestra y los grupos de maestra, pero ya que lleguemos a otro nivel, ella va a estar apoyando con eso. La segunda cosa que va a hacer es va a estar apoyando con las reuniones de SST, que es un equipo para el apoyo académico, emocional, cualquier necesidad que estudiantes tengan. Ella va a estar en algunas de esas reuniones. Y la última cosa que ella va a hacer es va a estar a cargo de monitorear el progreso académico de los chicos de 8º grado. Entonces es muy importante que tengamos un ojo, estemos mirando cómo van progresando porque se nos van a ir muy pronto y queremos que estén listos para cuando se vayan a su nueva escuela. Yo soy la maestra Carrera. Tengo algunas de las mismas asignaciones que la maestra Kubasek. Yo voy a estar a cargo de comportamiento de los grados TK a 3er grado, entonces yo voy a ser la persona que me voy a estar comunicando con ustedes. Segundo, también como maestra Kubasek, estamos dividiendo la responsabilidad de estar en las reuniones de SST. Yo voy a estar en algunas, ella en otras. Y luego también voy a estar en las reuniones de IEP. Entonces, con los chicos que tienen IEPs, los martes y los jueves yo voy a ser la persona representando la administración y la escuela. Y la última cosa que yo todavía estoy haciendo y he hecho, pero quería que estuviera muy claro para que todos supieran, yo soy la persona que maneja los planes 504 de la escuela. Entonces, esos son, para los que no saben, planes de apoyo para ciertos estudiantes. Entonces, eso continúa a mi cargo, pero quería que supieran eso. Good morning. Thank you for being here. My name is Maestra Carrera. I am currently the literacy coach, and I will be supporting with behavior for grades TK to 3rd grade. So first person in charge teacher, if anyone else needs to support, that would be me. So I will be communicating with you. Second thing, I will also be splitting up the support of the SST. So some meetings will, Maestra Kubasek will run them and others I will run them. I will be attending IEPs too. So for those meetings on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I will be the administrative representative at those meetings. And lastly, something that I've already been done for the past 8 years at OCEAA, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone knows I am in charge of 504 plans. So those are plans to support students with different needs. And so if students have 504s, I am your go-to person.
Voy a representar a la señora Collins por hoy, como no puede estar con nosotros. Ella va a monitorear los apoyos de PBIS, que es los apoyos de comportamiento positivos. Al estar en el edificio principal, en este edificio, 2 veces por semana, los martes y los jueves. Los días que ella no esté, ella va a asignar a una persona encargada para apoyar esos comportamientos. También va a apoyar a nuestro equipo de educación especial y también va a apoyar nuestro equipo de apoyo de asistencia a la escuela. So I'll be speaking for Ms. Collins today as she was not able to join us for this coffee chat. She will be monitoring and supporting our PBIS implementation, which is positive behavioral interventions and supports, by being at the main building here Tuesdays and Thursdays. She will also handle or assign a designee to support those students who receive an ODR, an office discipline report. She will be supporting our special ed team and our SART team, which SART is attendance support.
Okay. Luego, últimamente, I just got a couple little things on here, but one of the big things I think I forgot to put on here is the LCAP. Every single year, public schools, LEAs need to do an LCAP, local control and accountability plan for the school, which basically talks a little bit about the vision of the program for the upcoming school year, operations, the rent, mortgage, like what do you use your money for to run the school in a safe and clean and high performing charter school type piece. So I'll be leading that as a project manager, if you will, in partnership with our team that we just described. And so there'll be a survey that will be going out that you probably remember, the Healthy Kids, the California Healthy Kids survey, that hopefully we will drop soon. So I need to talk to Ms. Cordova out there about the deployment for that so we can get your feedback, so we can take that into consideration as we update our LCAP. And the state of California constantly changes what we need to do with templates and things like that. So in theory, the one that is in place now is a 3-year plan, and so we'll make some tweaks to that. So that's one other one. This school coordinating council, for those that participate in that, if I can see a show of hands, por favor, just so I can see the faces. I'll be taking the lead on that. We've got 2 left for the rest of the school year. That committee basically works with us on different things: safety, the LCAP, Title I funding, the state funding and certain things, so we can get your feedback, so we can take that into consideration as we develop plans in partnership with the folks with ELAC I see over here. And then of course, just support. I think I've worked with many of you on different topics, and I'm still committed to doing what I can to support you regardless of the topic.
Una cosa que olvidamos mencionar, el apoyo que va a estar trayendo el señor Limón, es la planeación de LCAP, que es todas las escuelas públicas tienen que ir por ese proceso. Algunos de ustedes recuerdan algunas encuestas que hemos mandado porque necesitamos colaboración de todos. Va a estar trabajando Mike Limón con la colaboración de las coordinadoras y con ustedes, así que esa encuesta igual va a pasar. También está apoyando con el consejo escolar, va a estar coordinándolo y ayudando con eso, y igual pues con el equipo donde vayamos necesitando es donde él va a estar.
So I'm going to open up to questions. So there's a couple questions in the chat about why this change. Obviously, we can't disclose that because of HR confidentiality processes, but I do want to open up the floor to questions. I do want to have our support folks, Miriam, Kathy, Senora Nelly, come up just so you guys can see their faces, because again, we haven't done this coffee chat in 2 years. If you guys can come up here and just say hello real quick, and then questions out there, preguntas por ahí.
I mean, it's very concerning when any organization has a sudden leadership change like this. And I get the practical matters that you guys are addressing of who's doing what. But it's very concerning when, you know, a CEO or whoever it is, the top person, the leader, just is gone. So I know you guys are doing your best to not entertain that for whatever, you know, liability or whatever, but everybody's talking about it. So at least do we know, was she fired? Did she get up and leave? Was it a performance issue? Is there anything you can tell us about that?
Well,
I'll help you with that.
Adelante, por favor.
So I am in HR, so I will be your face and save your face because it's appropriate. There's a lot of documentation that goes into performance issues. As Limon mentioned, he can't talk about it. He can't say anything about it. Neither the staff or anybody. The kids are talking about it. I think us as parents, all we have to say is, you know, change is sometimes necessary. We don't know why it happened. I mean, I told my kids, I don't know what happened. I just know it's changing. They're figuring something out. There's a plan. But other than that, like, we just have to, I guess, do our best to support, you know, the staff right now. Whatever it is, it was the right decision to do. Based on whatever documentation they had.
Sure. I have a follow-up.
Sure.
So yeah, I understand that. And of course, I'm behind you guys, and I'm sure all the other parents are as well. The next question, I guess, follow-up is, I like the idea of like turning it upside down and maybe not having that if that's the case, but that's also a bit of a concern because, you know, when you have an organization like this, leading by committee is proven not to really work that well. Like you need to have a head person. But so if we went with a traditional way where that's going to be the case, are you guys working on it to have that position filled like yesterday, or is this for like the next year? What's the plan for that?
Sure. So the plan that's up here now is basically just to get us to the rest. Oh, you want to help me?
So, primeramente, como habíamos comentado, muchas, el por qué. El por qué el por qué no por privacidad y confidencial no podemos compartir nada. So, gracias por ir por eso, pero siempre la razón siempre está respaldada con documentación y data. Entonces, estamos confiados que fue la decisión correcta. La siguiente pregunta fue que si sabemos que estamos tratando de hacer este formato, ¿verdad? De tener coordinación que ayude, pero entonces ella le dice que si en realidad puede que funcione, porque piensa que en base de la comunidad, si todas las decisiones en base a la comunidad no puede funcionar, si vamos a empezar a buscar, a reclutar a una nueva liderazgo. Esa es su pregunta, ¿verdad?
So the response to that is basically, so this is a plan just to get us through the rest of the school year. We are not planning at this moment in time to hire someone yesterday. We want to figure out what is sustainable. We are such a complex school because of the dual immersion piece, the ELA education, our academic team has really high standards, and then the pandemic gave us a couple steps back. So obviously, you know, we talked about ELA education a little bit, right? And our commitment to that and our financial investment with that. And so we are dedicated to keeping what we've done for the last 16 years moving forward. And so what I will share, part of the reason why we're here now is because we have had some setbacks this year. And we are not okay with that as a leadership team. We want the best for your children. We want the best for our school. And we're going to continue to advocate and figure out what we need to do in partnership with you all, because these are fantastic questions, because it gives us speed bumps, right? To slow down a little bit, right? To be able to reflect and strategize. And so if you have any thoughts, maybe we can sit down and grab coffee. I can walk you through the org chart that we have in place, which is in our parent handbook, if you're curious to see it, and we'll figure it out. It's going to take a little bit of time in partnership with our board of directors, our parents, our staff, to figure out what we need to do to be successful and sustainable.
And that's my main question is, because the leader in that position, you don't find them in a month. It takes 6 months to a year to find candidates. I'll repeat that. So yeah.
30 people online, so they wouldn't hear.
Yeah, so that was just my main concern, is replacing a principal. Basically, it's not something that you just put an ad and say, oh, you know, let's interview people. It's very, very specific people that are qualified for that. And it's going to be 6 months or longer to find that person, especially with the amount of effort and quality that you guys are looking for. So that's a bit of a concern, because we're almost finished, and then we have summer, and then, you know, but if we do go back to that, you know, it's going to be like February next year, and at that point, are we just kind of trying to play catch up? So.
And so just I'll hand it over. Just really quickly, so when Mrs. Collins said, I am retiring from the position last February, let me tell you, I lost sleep, because it's a tough job. And so it took us a lot of work to get to where we got with Mrs. Kelty, right? And our vision was to have someone here for at least 5 years, right? Because it is hard to bring someone in, train, challenge, and do the work. You know, we're not the type of organization that we're going to bring people in to just share what you think you need to do. We need someone that can roll up their sleeves and do the work too.
I guess I have a question and a comment in regards to like all this happening. Nobody wants to rock the boat, right? The boat has to rock if it has to rock. If something is not working, it has to change. Change is hard, and this is how we do it, right? So I appreciate, I got a message from you over the weekend, so I really appreciated that, giving me the heads up on it. And also my question would be, what would be the strategy to hire the new leadership? Is it like, what does the interview process look like? are you guys including any parents in any of this? You know, obviously you guys have to, you know, do your screenings first, and then how's that gonna work out?
Great question. So I'll talk a little bit about what we did this last time. We had 17 people part of the interview process for Kelty last year. That represented, and I have a presentation I can share with you guys if you're curious, that represents percentage of our community, parents, board, staff, academic team, credentials, classified folks on our team. We had 17 people through this process. And so obviously that process didn't get us to what we needed to do as a school to find a long-standing leader to keep us going as an organization, to get us to the next charter petition, right? And so maybe we can sit down and chat through kind of, I can share the presentation and walk you through the systems I took. We did homework, or I forget what we call them, but we gave them activities to do. For example, give them performance tasks. We did 2 of those where they presented to the interview panel on our charter petition. And they were giving a task. They were giving a sample data set to dissect the data and to be able to articulate it to the teachers, for example. That was another test that we did. So we did several steps, 17 people in this process to try to make sure we found someone that was the best candidate for the school. Communication, leadership, instructional program, student focus, things like that. So there was a bunch of buckets, surveys. And so we have a system in place, and it didn't get us to where we needed to be. So I'm always open to hear from you all and get recommendations. And like I mentioned earlier, you guys all have skills that you guys can bring to the table to support us. And so I'm always open to chat with you guys to figure out what we need to do to either restructure this system to make it sustainable or keep what we have in place and figure out if there's different levels of support that need to be integrated. No, perdón.
La verdad no sé ni por dónde empezar, pero en una necesita, ¿verdad? Queremos encontrar la estructura que funcione, ¿verdad? Porque sabemos que somos una escuela muy especial, tenemos estándares altos. Entonces, el año o la vez pasada, cuando la señora Kristen nos comunicó que se iba a retirar, hicimos todo un proceso largo donde 17 personas fueron involucradas, tanto como administración, el cuerpo educativo, las coordinadoras, algunas encuestas para los padres. Entonces fue un proceso largo que obviamente desafortunadamente no funcionó. Estábamos tratando de buscar a una persona que se quedara arriba de 5 años y no fue como sucedió. Entonces ahorita lo que no queremos hacer es, no queremos apresurarnos a tratar de encontrar a alguien porque se toma tiempo. A la pregunta que dice, ¿verdad? O sea, por el momento queremos terminar el ciclo escolar lo más fuerte que se pueda y con los recursos que tenemos y son grandes recursos de todas las coordinadoras y el equipo administrativo. Y también tratar de encontrar a esa persona correcta para OCEA.
Al mismo tiempo queremos completar el año, pero al mismo tiempo vamos a hacer la tarea para investigar lo que tenemos que hacer empezando ayer de este sistema. So what I was saying is that yes, we want to complete the year with this plan, but in conjunction, in parallel, come up with a plan or a couple options. Actually, I think what we'll do is at the next board meeting, which is coming up in a couple of weeks, and then the coffee chat, share some ideas as to what we're thinking, so we can get your insight, because you guys are, as the state of California calls, our education partners in this journey with us. And so obviously we want to get your feedback so we can take that into consideration as we continue our next chapter at OCEAA. Thank you, Oscar. Otra pregunta por ahí. I know it's past 9:30. Oh, sure.
I know you mentioned the counselor is also leaving us. So I guess my biggest concern, yeah, the leadership is big, and based on all the behavioral issues we've been having and everything, the counselor wasn't here very long. I think she was here less than 6 months. So that was concerning for me. And at the same time, I understand because I'm in the field, right? What is the plans for that? I think that's more urgent than this leadership one.
La pregunta era de la consejera que está con OCEAA, que teníamos 2 consejeras este año. La consejera se va a mover para Texas, so the counselor will be moving to Texas. Happy for her to take on this new opportunity for their family, but of course it creates challenges for us. So I know Rosalinda, she's our HR manager. She didn't provide you with her title, but she's working with our entire system, MPAs and non-public agencies that we work with already to find a short-term solution if we need to. But I know that there's a couple candidates in the pipeline that we're interviewing currently to figure out if we can get someone in place by April 1st. So we're working hard to find someone that's qualified, hopefully bilingual, because that's the other challenge, because again, we're looking for very unique people to join our crew. And so we are working on a couple options for that. And we do have one person in-house already that's been doing long-term sub that is working toward that space to become a certificated counselor as well. That is an option that we can deploy, but he needs to be supervised. So we have 3 options on the table right now that we're trying to research and investigate. And our goal is to try to have something in place by April 1st.
So, la segunda pregunta fue referente a la consejera escolar que se va a estar mudando para Texas con su familia. Obviamente nos ha puesto un poquito en una situación difícil porque estamos viviendo la pandemia, necesitamos el apoyo socioemocional para los estudiantes. Entonces hemos estado trabajando para reclutar a esa posición lo más pronto posible. En cuanto se nos dio a conocer, lo posteamos y hemos estado haciendo entrevistas ya. Y también nos estamos en compañerismo con algunas agencias escolares donde provienen este tipo de servicios. También estamos haciendo en conjunción a los 2 entrevistas, la agencia y también permanente.
Una pregunta acá. Ok, mira. Ok. La otra cosa también que quiero comentar, en el pasado con nuestra psicóloga, esa posición con los casos que tenemos de servicios, nomás eran 16 horas por semana. Este año, sabiendo que íbamos a regresar de la pandemia, convertimos ese puesto a tiempo completo. So I was mentioning our school psychologist historically at OCEAA would only work at OCEAA 16 hours a week. It was through the district when we were with the District for Special Education Services. Knowing that we were coming back from the pandemic and knowing that we're all struggling with social emotional needs, we made that position a full-time position this year. And I'm also looking to make that a full-time position for next year as well. She has been very supportive with these transitions, even in the fall when our previous counselor left OCEAA, she stepped in and supported us. And then our SPED coordinator also is a certificated psychologist as well. So we already have some talent on campus to support, but again, they're tasked with doing other things. So we're trying to balance that with what the needs are as well. Sí, ya lo dije en español, ¿verdad? Vi otra pregunta, I got like some random questions.
Sorry, pero lo tengo que decir. Bueno, primeramente yo como padre de un estudiante de 7 grado, yo quiero darle gracias a todos ustedes porque están navegando en algo que no estaba dentro de lo que eso sea dentro de nuestras manos. No podemos cambiar de un día al otro y hacerlo así. Es una de las partes en las que estábamos haciendo la pregunta, de hecho, que nos preguntó la maestra Benet. ¿Cómo vamos a navegar con esto, verdad? Paciencia, acuerdos y entendimiento. Entonces, yo les doy muchas gracias a ustedes que hayan tenido la responsabilidad de poder hacerlo, porque sé que pueden, porque inicialmente antes de ser un director o crear un director, viene desde abajo y se va creando con el trabajo, con la experiencia. Yo creo que ellos han tenido demasiada experiencia en muchos aspectos aquí en la escuela. Yo que he estado como padre voluntario, yo he visto su trabajo, cada uno de ellos, y a veces como padres no nos ponemos en la posición de, oye, esto, está bien, porque para eso pues somos padres, pero también si entendiéramos el trabajo que hay detrás de lo que es ser maestro, director, analista, consejero y todo, wow. Yo como voluntaria y que estuve aquí ayudando en las otras directoras, desde la primera directora, que no me acuerdo ahorita bien su nombre, hasta las otras 2 que ahorita estaban, ha sido mucho trabajo que han hecho ellos, demasiado. Y para mí pienso que son las personas más correctas, porque no hay persona más correcta que pueda entender el proceso de lo que es la escuela aquí que ellos mismos. Y el trabajo que se ha hecho con años con los niños. Y ahorita lo que pasó de COVID, de que cerraron y todo online y todo ha sido un proceso muy difícil, tanto para ellos como directores, como padres, como consejeros. Entonces, de hecho, pienso que una de las partes es de que se abrió lo de consejería más tiempo precisamente por eso, porque hay un desbalance ahorita también con los niños, tanto también con nosotros como padres. Entonces, pues yo nada más quiero decir que buena suerte. Si se quedan todos en esa posición, perfecto. Va a llegar más gente, pero no va a quedarse la gente que realmente ama y sabe lo que es. O sea, gracias.
I think we'll cut off on the translations, but one thing I did forget to mention, team and Oscar, is when Collins did give us that news last February, obviously I was in complete surprise, but we do have a foundational system or already a mini org chart within the academic team. There's a foundation there. So we felt like we had peace of mind when she gave us that news because there is a good system in place already. So bringing someone in to basically lead them, right, was kind of our big need. And so there is a foundation there that has been there for 7+ years that we're confident in. And so we just need to figure out if that foundation still makes sense or do we blow it up type thing. And so that's kind of where we're at now. There was a couple of questions that came in the Zoom. What will be prioritized moving forward? This conversation will be our top, it's our top priority. I think, we've had a lot of changes within other departments and I think we're in a really good place. And, I've had conversations, tenido conversaciones con papás, diferentes gerentes que han unido con OCEA y siempre queremos aprender cómo ser mejores profesionales. We want to continue to grow our team to become better leaders so that way it can continue to be with us long-term as a school. So I think we're in a good place organizationally. This is our priority now. Can we hire locally? Of course, that's ideal, but you never know. You might have someone fantastic that has built a dual immersion program in Chicago as an example. So you just never know. And how can we support teachers? Collaboration, right? I know that there's been situations where there's frustration on both sides, the parent side and the teacher side with timely communication, but what does that mean? I think timely communication means different things for different people, right? So I know that's been a big thing, but just checking in human to human to see how they're doing because everybody has a story at home, right? It's okay. Yeah, I think we're way past our hour, but I think thank you for bearing with us as we, change course as a school. Thank you for partnering with us and collaborating with us, and thank you for being part of nuestra familia. Muchas gracias a todos. I think we're done for today. Oh, adelante.
Antes de que terminemos, les quiero decir algo. Quiero decirle gracias a la mamá de Evan por su comentario y quiero decirles que no importa lo que pase con lo que estamos pasando ahorita en decir que tanto demoremos en encontrar una persona, quiero que ustedes sepan que la maestra Kubasik, la maestra Beneji y yo estamos comprometidas a estar aquí con ustedes y con sus chicos. Las tres tenemos planeado regresar el año que entra. Las tres estaremos trabajando arduamente durante el verano y la mamá de Evan tiene razón, ¿verdad? ¿Quién más para apoyarlos a sus hijos que las personas que los hemos conocido de nosotras? Yo tengo 8 años, 7 maestra Beneji, 15 la maestra Kubasik. Nosotros conocemos a OCEA, conocemos a sus hijos, a nuestras necesidades, a ustedes. Somos una familia y no importa lo que pase, estamos aquí para apoyarlas y vamos a seguir las tres. Nosotras podemos y quiero pedirles de antemano que les quiero decir gracias por tener confianza en nosotras porque estamos todas aquí para apoyarlos. Entonces, juntos vamos a encontrar a la persona que sea adecuada para nuestra escuela, una persona que en realidad como comunidad pensemos, ok, esta persona va a necesitar ayuda de las 3 coordinadoras de todas maneras. Entonces, solo quería decirles eso. I said a lot in Spanish, but I will say it in English too. I just wanted to say thank you to Evan's mom, for her beautiful words and for trusting the coordinating team to lead. I wanted to let all of you know that, regardless of what is happening, the 3 of us are constant. We are planning to come back next year. We will be working really hard this summer and even now, to set up your students for success next year. Regardless of, how
long it takes us, we are committed to find the right person to lead our school. We are the people that know our school the best. So we will also be supporting the new person coming in to make sure that, you know, they are ready and that they know the needs of our students, the needs of our community, and the needs of the staff at large. So thank you so much for your trust. Thank you so much for bringing your kids. We love your kids. We know your kids. We're here to support you. Anything you need, please let us know. Cualquier cosa, cualquier duda, llámenos. Estamos aquí para apoyarlos.
Claro.